Welcome to Perth's #1 podcast. You're listening to the Jamo and Dylan Show.
Yeah, we're on the way to Dunsborough. Little mad trip with the boys. We're celebrating.
G'day guys and welcome back to the Jamo and Dylan Show. It is episode 168 today. And Dylan, we have a very special guest.
Mate, top tier. It's
Jack,
exciting.
Mate, you are closer to our hearts than you would ever know because you've only just met us. But we are big fans of Hamish and Andy, and you've been along on their journey for, 15 years now?
It will crazily be 15 years that I've worked with the Hamish and Andy this year. Already is. Yeah, I started in January 2008.
That's incredible.
15 years.
And how old were you then? About 20?
I was 20, yeah.
Young boy. And how was that experience meeting those guys?
How old are you guys?
Oh, we're both 23.
Yeah.
It was actually, I already had known them. So I started working with them when I was 20, but we did a community radio station in Melbourne called Sin FM, which is for students only. Mm-hmm. And I had bumped into them before at that radio station. They were a few years older than me, but I knew them. And then when I met them again, I was so shy that I didn't tell them, like, I actually already know you. So it wasn't for months. I think it was about 6 months later that they put two and two together that we had crossed paths earlier.
Wow. And, you know, like you just mentioned that you're a bit shy. Do you reckon that was a feature or like a trait that you had when you were a bit younger that you had to grow out of in the industry?
I think, I probably didn't realize how bad it was. Like, even still, I think after doing radio for 15 years and broadcasting like daily, I still have a tendency to like mumble under my breath, and I have to remind myself to enunciate words. I think I was super shy as a kid, really shy. Like wouldn't talk to like adult. I was one of those kids. You know, your mum goes like, this is like James, and you like you just
Put your head down.
Which is like, now I think actually being a father now, and I've got a 10-month-old, so he's far away from that. But if I think of him like introducing him to somebody and he just doesn't say anything, it seems super rude. But that's the kind of kid I was, and I think radio actually helped me overcome a lot of that. People were surprised that I was 15 when I started doing that community radio station, and I think people were surprised that I was the kind of person drawn to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you get involved with that? What made you pick this industry? Considering you were shy.
I was in a band, and I think like the band was probably another way like to try and break through that shyness as well. But the drummer of the band found a flyer for this radio show that you could do, and so it wasn't even. You go on this radio station, but the flyer he found was not even for a whole show. It was like, come and do one segment on a radio show. Right. So, we spent 5 or 10 minutes each Sunday for that was the first experience I had on radio. It was like a 10-minute bit on somebody else's radio show with a whole bunch of other students. And that's where it started.
There you go.
Amazing.
You also mentioned you have a 10-month-old boy. How's that been? Fatherhood?
Yeah, good. Nah, it's great. It's great. It's just like, it was a rocky start. Like I think I didn't mentally prepare for some reason. People keep telling you like, all right, you're not going to get sleep. It's hard. Your priorities will change. And every time somebody said that to me, I thought, this won't apply to me.
You were thinking it would be light work, yeah.
I just thought like, but you guys are weaklings and I'll be all right. And it's tough, especially doing like, because I do, as well as doing Hamish and Andy in Melbourne, I do breakfast radio here. Yeah. And so every day up before 5 a.m. and clash that in with a baby, who's waking up in the night and just needs your attention all the time. Tricky to juggle, definitely.
I'm sure it's a beautiful thing though too, right?
I didn't get to that. Yeah. It's also a great thing, and your priorities naturally change. Like, it's funny to say that. Like, I always thought that like broadcasting and like creative projects would be the thing I cared about most, but then it comes along and your priorities change. Like, we even moved house recently and like to like more family suburb, and near the primary school.
Yeah.
You get it's lame to say because I can see you guys, like I used to be you guys sitting in that room, with your topless model behind you and and all your junk. It's like I feel like I'm still that person, but over the last year I've been brought into like you have to priorities change. I'm brought into fatherhood.
We're a bit like that, even in the sense that we've changed so much from when we were like 17, 18 to now. Like since we left school, it's been 5 or 6 years. And I still feel like I'm the same kid in my head, but then you're living a completely different life of adulthood and having to learn all these new things. And it's such a peculiar thing in life. Like you're how old are you, 35?
Like you guys are 23, I'm 35. And until I had my son, I still felt like that.
Yeah.
I've had this weird feeling, even all the way through my career, probably because I've been working with older broadcasters like Hamish and Andy are in their 40s now, so at least 5 or 6 years older than me. And Christian O'Connell, who I broadcast with in Melbourne on The Breakfast Show, is in his late 40s. So I've always felt like this junior, I'm just starting in the industry. Like, and even after doing 15 years of radio, I still felt like that. And I still felt like a teenage kid or somebody in my 20s. And, for me, it didn't go away for a long time. And now I feel like I'm in that transition period at the moment.
Yeah.
We've got a while to go then. We're still kids. I still feel 18, but I do. It's such a weird thing.
It is.
It's unbelievable.
It's odd. On your house, so you said that recently you moved, and we were doing a bit of research on you, and I actually remember from listening to the Hamish and Andy podcast back in the day that you built your own house at one stage.
I mean, the house we moved out of, we did, Bianca and I, my wife, we did a lot of the renovation until a point where we're like, God, this is taking ages. Like we were doing like slogging away at it for 2.5 years.
And that was the running joke, wasn't it, with the boys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I could do the radio show and then come home and, put a little bit of plasterboard up or something. It's like you need a team of people like working full time to get this done in a timely manner. So eventually towards the end, we sucked it up, and there was stuff we couldn't do. So we just had to get some professional carpenters in. And then for a while, I was also like, oh, can I be on the tools, guys? And for a while, they were like, just placating me and like, sure, mate. And then after a bit, they were just like, you know what? It's actually faster if we just finish this.
So how's your new place? Are you enjoying the new suburban life?
Well, and now we've done the same thing. So that house we bought that you said that we built ourselves was in such disrepair. It still the only thing it had was an outdoor toilet, no indoor toilet.
Oh, jeez.
Like a shack out the backyard.
An outhouse.
I can't believe an outhouse.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of work to do on that place, and this place has full luxury inside toilet, but it has a lot of work to do. So we're kind of going back again and starting.
Is that something you enjoy, fixing the houses up? Is that like?
Yeah, I had loved learning to do that.
Yeah.
The last time, 6 years ago now that we started that project, and I don't know, I just like keeping myself like I gotta always have something like stimulating me, or else I can't be just twiddling my thumbs. And radio is a job that doesn't demand actually a lot of time in your day. So I might do 3 hours of the radio show in the morning, or if I'm doing the Hamish and Andy podcast, only a few hours to get it done. So I need things in my day to keep myself occupied.
Yeah. Would you say you have some other hobbies as well? Like, what are your hobbies away from your career?
Well, so what takes up a lot of my time at the moment is I'm like trying to do sketches on Instagram and TikTok.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's sort of in the same realm, I guess, like comedy stuff, but that takes up a lot of my time. Then hobbies but I don't have hobbies like, golfing or
fishing and stuff like
fishing.
that.
Nah. I got it. I just don't have the patience for that.
Yeah, same. But we're not very outdoorsy. Like, we like the thought of golf. We don't go very often, but we love the thought of it.
Yeah, it's a long day though. After the third or fourth hole, I'm thinking this is a bit much,
And fishing, I'm not cut out for that.
Yeah, no.
I agree, guys. I reckon golf if there was like 3 whole golf courses,
Yeah, it'd be
I think
perfect.
I would actually really enjoy it. But like, the only times I play golf, maybe a handful of times with friends who actually like golf. I've played 9 holes, not even 18. And by the end, I'm like, guys, it's the same thing. We just get to the start of the hole, we hit it, we walk, we hit it again.
Yeah, we went to a golf day, and it took us. We were in a group of 4, and it took us hours to get to like 5 holes because it takes like 8 shots to get it in when you have no skill.
Yeah.
We completed
Exactly.
like 4 holes
It was
and
ridic-
then
and
just said, no, everyone else is done.
Yeah. So that's why I like the romantic idea of being a golfer and like getting out with your friends on a sunny day, but it's too long for me.
Yeah. I noticed you went on Dylan Friends, which is obviously Dylan Buckley's podcast, and we're big fans of him and his work. And he loves his golf. And I actually
He's a big golfer.
I love watching his golf videos on More Green's golf YouTube channel.
Okay.
It's like a little hobby of mine is watching those videos. But like,
That's a weird hobby to have. It's like, I don't like playing golf, but I watch some
You can live
even
your
non-professionals
fantasy through
doing it.
yeah, it's not even that I don't like playing. It's just that I'm not good enough yet. And I don't really have the patience, like you were saying, to put in the hours to get better. I just hope that one day I'll wake up with the superpower.
So what do you guys do outside of the pod? Like, what do you spend your time doing?
Oh, we have part-time jobs.
Yeah, couple days a week.
We love our sport, so we play like an indoor soccer competition on a Wednesday night. Things.
Yeah, I don't know, going to the beach or something, I guess.
Go
to the pub.
Summer in Perth is ridiculous. Like
it's
the
great.
last week has just been 38 degrees after 38 after 38. And it gets tiring. Like it's again, like you can romanticize the idea of Perth's great, it has amazing weather. That's too hot in my books.
Yeah, during the day it sucks, but once it hits at like nighttime, it's beautiful.
Oh yeah, like,
sunset.
We were talking about this last week on the show. Like, what is your favorite time of the day? And we both said sunset, maybe just after sunset, because that's when it starts to cool down over here. So, what would your favorite time of the day be?
Totally agree. I know. But even though we don't get those sweltering hot days, like we get them, but just not as often over in Melbourne summer. But just from doing the breakfast show and waking up, 4:45 in the morning, I start to burn out maybe around 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So 2 to 5 p.m. is my most hated time of day.
Okay, you're hanging on.
I get nothing done. Yeah, I'm just hanging on.
Yeah.
I'm cranky, in a bad mood.
And it's funny because it's this time right now for you that we're recording is between 2 and 5.
Yeah. Lucky it's
caught him
actually
at
the
the
public
start,
holiday. Yeah. No, because I haven't had the show this morning because of the public holiday. But then eat dinner. And get that kick from dinner, and then back in the evening, that. I love that time of night, especially at this time of year. And we just moved across the road from a park, so take the dog out, play frisbee or something. Love that time of day.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
It's
gorgeous.
a good way to live.
How many times have you travelled to Perth, if any?
I've never been to Perth.
Wow.
I've never been to Perth. I think I went through the airport, to get to South Africa, fly from Melbourne to Perth, Perth to Johannesburg. But I've never been to Perth. Always wanted to go. We have friends in Perth. A couple of times we planned it. Got the closest at the start of first COVID, 2020, and then couldn't get over there. Want to.
Try and get those plans back up and running, and we can go for a round of golf together.
It's too hot.
3 rounds.
We'll go for some evening golf.
Yeah, evening golf. Dusk.
Yeah.
They have mini golf as well. We love mini golf.
Mini golf's good.
Because that's easy and short. So on the Hamish and Andy show, I remember back in the day, you had a nickname going around and it was Cackling Jack, and that was due to your laugh. How did that come about, and who actually gave you that nickname?
Yeah, so Hamish did in the show one day.
Yeah.
And they had, before I worked in there, so this is what my job is in the studio with Hamish and Andy, is turning the microphones on, playing the songs, playing the sound effects, that sort of thing. So it's kind of a unique role where Hamish and Andy's all the people in the show, but because there's this one other person in the studio, sometimes they just naturally involve you, and that's how my involvement on the show came to be. But they had this guy before me 10 years ago, 13 years ago now, Giggling Ben, and because he had this really high pitched giggle, but he was also a voiceover artist, so his speaking voice was right down here, and he'd do all the he'd do all the bits and pieces for the radio station, like win $10,000. But he had this really high pitched giggly voice, giggly laugh. So he got this name Giggling Ben, and then when I was first training with Giggling Ben, so he was teaching me how to do the buttons. I was laughing, but like emphasizing my laugh because I wanted to go to my friends like, oh, listen to the show and you can hear me laughing in the background. Because they weren't speaking to me at that stage. So it's like, that was my only like claim to working on the show. It's like, listen to me laughing in the back. So like I probably emphasized it a little bit and lent into it. And then Hamish gave me the nickname Cackling Jack, which stuck for a bunch of years, but they don't really use it anymore. I feel like it doesn't get used that much anymore.
No, definitely not. And one thing we want to bring up before we move on to the second part of the show is when you met Rachel Finch. So it was a very awkward moment, but you sort of handled it quite well as well. What are your memories of that saga?
Right, well, now we're going deep into the archive. So for people who don't know Hamish and Andy, this was 2010 because I remember the World Cup was on in my family.
Oh, that was a great World Cup as well.
Yeah, that was a great World Cup, South Africa.
Yeah, my dad is Dutch, and the Dutch just
you made the final.
Yeah, we made the final.
Iniesta.
And I remember that. That was the same morning. So I'd stayed up overnight to watch that, and then the next morning is when Rachel Finch came in, and she'd just been Miss Universe, and I think I was talking about her in the studio, like I don't know, horny 21-year-old or whatever. And so they did this prank on me where they got her to come and speak to me at my computer, and I didn't realize they were recording and filming, and I was tired because I'd been up all night watching the World Cup, and I was shy, like I said to you guys before. So I just had like the most non-conversation with her. Like any normal person would have just kept walking away because you realize that this person can't hold a conversation. But because now I realize in hindsight, like because they wanted her to keep recording with me to get more material. She just kept standing there. So I was like in this really awkward position of like, I know that I'm not wooing you right here, but this conversation continues. Also, like where I was like sat down at my computer and like she's standing up.
Awkward.
Like it's just like everything about it was awkward. But then that was actually kind of one of the biggest introductions for me on the show is because they did that prank on me, and then I end up writing a song to play to Rachel Finch, and you know, like it's the first time I got to do something creatively like that on the show. Yeah. And you know what's funny? That like this song I'm talking about 13 years ago now. A guy in Bunnings just the other day walked past me and sung the chorus of the song. He's under his breath. He's like, Rachel Finch.
That's amazing.
You don't like realize when you're in the moment, and we've had it on a small scale, but how far your content can reach in terms of across the other side of the world,
it's insane.
Certain demographics of people. Like, it's amazing, especially with the way social media is nowadays, how far pieces of content can go, and how much people retain. There was one night we were at a pub on a Sunday. We call them a Sunday sesh over here. We'll probably do it over there as well, but
no, we don't. And I always have found that so endearing about Perth. Is like you've got work the next morning, except your biggest day of the weekend.
Oh,
is like
mate, a Sunday sesh in summer's incredible.
It's amazing. There's a certain aura about it.
Yeah,
there's a feeling.
There's
in the
an
air.
energy. It's incredible.
Anyway, so we're at a Sunday session. There was this guy that came up to us and he said, "Oh, big fans of the show, love your work." And then he started rattling off like things that he remembers, and he'd tell us the timestamp and the episode that it was from. And I'm thinking, this is incredible. And he would say, "Okay, episode 31, that was the start of 2020, and you spoke about this, and it was my favorite part." And I was like, this is ridiculous. He's a human encyclopedia.
Once we stop recording on the day, I instantly forget everything.
Yeah, same.
It just goes in and out. I don't know.
Do you notice that, obviously, because you do a bit more work on the Christian O'Connell show with speaking, right? Like a more involved role. Yeah.
More involved, yeah.
Do you find that when you have finished recording that a lot of what you spoke about is sort of out the window?
Definitely. We got a name for it. We call it show amnesia. Because people, like after the show finishes, because on radio they make like promos and they'll cut up like jokes from the show and then play it throughout the day and push to the next morning show. And so like a producer will come in and be like, "Oh, what did you guys like from today?" It's like, honestly, I can't remember what we did.
I know, and it makes you feel stupid.
Yeah, but I think it's because you're just doing so many hours, like, that it's got to feel disposable for you. And I think what like going back to what you said about people coming up to you in the pub and like knowing particular bits is Hamish and Andy was really, I think, at the sort of start of that, because before that, like, radio shows were super disposable. Like, you couldn't listen to them again. It was only if you heard it at the time.
That's so true.
Whereas with podcasting, and especially with the popularity of Hamish and Andy's, like, you really notice people like loved the show and loved bits of it. And like, even the fact that you guys are referencing the Rachel Finch thing is like almost 15 years old.
Yeah.
So it does that in that way. It's more like a TV series or something where people can go back and watch it, and it gets more of a cult following. And that's what I felt like Hamish and Andy had. Definitely.
And you don't really, in the moment, understand how much of an impact these things can have on people. Like, for example, Hamish and Andy came at a time in our lives where we were growing up, and that was like our first involvement in like comedy on TV.
Yeah.
And we grew up with you guys, and a lot of our key moments of like, I don't know, big bundles of laughter and joy came from, you know, the gap years you did and stuff like that. So you just don't understand. Like, we get messages, like DMs on Instagram and stuff of people who say, "Oh, I listen every morning on the way to work," or "I've just gone through a breakup."
Unbelievable.
And it really helps me get through, just because it's lighthearted humour. And no one really wants to listen to something too heavy in the morning.
Yeah. And I think like generationally we'll see that happening is like, I feel like before, like when I was a kid, you had radio shows, but again, you couldn't podcast. You didn't really know even like what the people looked like, but you could, you know, as on your way to school, you listen to it every day. And then you had Hamish and Andy was like, oh, now you can get a bit more involved. You can listen to the podcast, you can go back and listen, and you can go on their website and watch some of their videos. Now with like the era that you guys are hitting and the like those kids that you're speaking about coming up, you know, they're watching you every day, or they're listening to the show every day. So you're going to be their version of that, which, you know, it's different to how I grew up. It's different to how you guys grew up, but you still got that constant exposure in their life.
Yeah. We always think of like generations to come as well. Like Dylan and I love the thought of how much is going to change. What are the new inventions going to be? Like, I don't know. It shocks me.
The world's going to get crazy.
Definitely. And you look at some of the things like Japan are very technologically advanced, and I see some news articles and stuff that come out of that country, and some of the robots and stuff that they have going on at the moment are incredible, almost scary.
Even there's a program you can chat GPT, and it's a functioning AI. You can chat with it.
Right.
It's incredible.
Well, so you can have full conversations.
It will. Like, you can ask it anything. It can do like full workout plans for you, diets. You can give it specific about, you know, high protein, vegetarian. You can ask it about anything. It'll write essays. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, actually, funnily enough, like my TikTok feed at the moment is full of that AI stuff.
Yeah.
I guess, you know, like when you just start watching one thing and then you get pissed more of it.
Yeah, that's all that's there.
It's like all the advances in AI, and like Chat GPT is one, but there's like this crazy stuff that you can do. And like, I feel like we're at a tipping point where AI is going to become super involved in all our lives. Probably like content as well, and creativity.
Definitely. It does scare me a bit though, because it's becoming so advanced that it will eventually be smarter than us and our brains.
We're giving it all the information.
It's already smarter.
Yeah.
Well, it's already smarter than you guys.
We're stuffed. Awesome. Well, it wasn't hard though. We also wanted to show you this. I'm not sure if you would remember it, but this is from the Gap Years, the definitive and exclusive ultimate set.
God, so guys, it was. You are fans of the pod, hey, and the show.
Yeah. And we had a joke. We had a joke last week because we'd love to have them on the show. We know they're very busy men, but we were tossing up like this theory that they might hate us, like, because
how did that even begin?
Because like know. We've never met them, they might not know who we are, and they might dislike us.
What did you never meet people you like? What did you say? Never meet. But
why would they hate you if they've never met you? Why would they hate you?
I don't know. You just get these thoughts. You know, it's like
when you go down a downward spiral.
Never meet your heroes type thing. I remember meeting an AFL player once because we love our AFL, and I just
done. Are you guys Eagles fans or Dockers fans?
I'm Dockers. It was actually Adelaide Crows.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wait, are you from Adelaide?
No, I'm not. I've liked them when I was a kid, and that's that.
Andrew McLeod.
Yeah.
That's so funny, man. My wife says she barracks for Adelaide. She's from the US, but she's been
Oh,
here now
wow.
11 years.
There you go.
And so I made her go for Essendon because that's who I barracked for at the start. And then, after we've had a pretty tumultuous 10 years, so halfway through, she was just like, I'm going to change teams. And then she watched that. Did you guys watch Making Your Mark, the Amazon Prime doco? And she was like, I just like the Adelaide guys. I like Rory Sloane. I like the coach. I think I go for Adelaide now. So my wife, who's never been to Adelaide, barracks for Adelaide.
That's funny.
Same. I've never been there
really?
either. So
There you go.
maybe one day.
But yeah, we love our footy. And what was I saying?
Oh, so who did you meet?
We
What
were
was
at
footy
the
player you met?
we were at the
right.
Hopman Cup. It's a tennis tournament in Perth, and
Yeah.
we were about 17.
Yeah.
There were some Fremantle players there.
Yeah, I've named names before. I can name names. It wasn't the worst. It wasn't the worst thing.
One of them was nice.
Yeah. So it was Ed Langdon, who now plays for Melbourne, and Lockie Weller, who now plays for Gold Coast. And Ed Langdon was good. He was fine. But Lockie Weller just palmed me off and did not want to... I'd just done my knee. And I remember I had it all
You were
bandaged
so
up.
excited too.
So I'm hobbling on over to him, and I'm a big fan. And I'm like, hey, mate, I was wondering, can I please get a photo? And he was like, yeah, I suppose. And because they just got food, so they had to put the food down. They had to.
That is a bit annoying on your behalf.
Yeah, a little bit. But, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for a young boy like myself.
Yeah.
But no, Ed Langdon was a good sport about it, but Lockie just didn't seem to appreciate it, which I understand. To be fair, we'd be probably similar.
Well, you got to think
Maybe.
of like those guys. You got to think, especially in a town like Perth where there's only 2 teams.
Yeah.
And footy obsessed like Melbourne. It's like they're just doing that all the time.
Yeah.
Like they're getting people to come up, take photos. Like I wouldn't do it, but I get his frustration.
Yeah. I also think the contrasting point to that is that they were like first or second year players at the time. And I don't think many people knew them. And because I was a mega fan, I knew them.
You
and
know
I
the
was-
draftees,
Yeah.
mate.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty across the board.
Yeah,
on
actually,
all
that changes my perspective, actually. He's
Yeah.
a prick.
It's now time to dive into your deepest and darkest confessions. Let's hear what the people have to get off their chest.
All right, so it's just a confession segment. The fans send things in and they want to get these things off their chest, right? So we've just got the one this week. Hey boys, got one for the confessions. About a year and a half ago, I turned 18, so I just got my Ps and had been driving around only for a few weeks. One day I'm driving to school and I pull up to a roundabout. I'm turning left, so I have a quick look to the right and see there's no cars coming, so I put the pedal to the metal and turn. As I turn, I hear this bang, and keep in mind I'm not turning slowly. I look up to realise I've hit an old lady on her mobility scooter.
Oh my God.
This is horrific.
Oh, this is dark.
A full 90-year-old woman going for a morning ride and I've just rammed her with my car. Her scooter skidded across the road and I'm sitting there in shock thinking I'm going to jail. I sat there for a few seconds and she gave me a wave. From the floor, a little wave, like a thumbs up.
from the floor.
Yeah.
No.
So I drove away and cried the rest of the way to school. That was over a year ago and I still think about her every day.
A hit and run.
I guess so, yeah. But in a nice
it
way.
is. There's
That-
a
no,
lot
that
of
is a hit and
unanswered
run.
questions there. Did he make sure that grandma
It
was
was
okay?
it was a she.
Oh.
Oh shit! Did she make sure that the
Well, I
person
think
was
she
okay?
took, from what we know, she took the wave as the A-OK.
Maybe she was like, help me,
Yeah.
help me.
That's another way to look at it,
do
eh?
anything.
Well, the girl was disorientated because she said that she was crying, and
Yeah.
I reckon that
She
she
obviously
wasn't
didn't
all
feel
there.
bad enough, though, because she...
Yeah, no. If you felt bad enough, you'd pull over, you'd walk back, and you'd help the old lady.
Fix the scooter.
Yeah.
It's
The scooter was stuff, too.
it's kind of disrespectful of me, but I really want to see footage of it.
Yeah.
Just
Dash
to
cam.
see how bad the impact was. Was the old lady playing on it? Was she not that bad? But I don't
Well,
know.
She,
We'll
she
never
got
know.
hit by a car. What do you
Yeah,
mean
he-
is she playing it up?
Yeah, but I don't know. You can get struck by something at a low speed, and
What, you think Nana is faking it for an insurance claim or something?
nah. To be fair, I think
Trying to cash in.
I think she got fucked up. Yeah,
I think.
she was struck by a
So
car.
what do you guys do? What do you do with these confessions?
Oh, we
So
just
people
embraced
write-
them.
So we embraced that girl, even though she left her grandma struggling in the middle of the road and kept going on the road.
I'm happy to name and shame if you'd like.
We don't have to shame, but we can definitely show our disapproval.
We had a court case segment, which was one of my favourite, but we didn't have enough getting sent in because it sort of died out. People don't like feeling guilty about things publicly. So
Yes.
people would send in something and they would say, am I guilty or not? Or is this person guilty or not? And then we had to put our little judges' uniforms on and sort it out for them.
Yeah, and if we were doing that segment right now, I would say that the girl on the way to school is guilty.
Guilty, yeah.
Did the old lady have her indicator on though?
Old ladies, if she's on a mobility scooter, she's just crossing at a pedestrian crossing. She's in there full right. I'm actually shocked that I'm the only one on the grandma's side here.
But yeah, we'll give a...
See, we don't have enough evidence. Oh, no, to be fair, we have spoken word. Like, we have a message
You got a confession.
from the perpetrator.
We do have a confession. Exactly.
So, yeah, I guess that's guilty, isn't it?
That's guilty.
Yeah.
That's probably the first one that's moved from one segment to another.
Yeah, and I was trying to give the girl the benefit of the doubt because you never know, but we sort of did have enough information.
Yeah, well, she's kind of just pleaded guilty herself.
What
She's taken
if-
the guilty charge.
It could be like a manslaughter type charge, but what if the nana was under the influence of alcohol or an illicit substance?
Wow.
Let's take that into account.
Bit of Bailey's in the morning coffee.
So, if you guys were real judges, by the way, or like sitting in a real court, you're not really playing fairly. You're giving a complete bias to the girl driving on her way to school. You're like, oh, we don't have enough information. She says she does it, but we don't really have enough
And
information.
you know why? She
Having
listens
said
to the
that,
show.
with absolutely
Yeah.
no evidence, we say grandma was drink driving or heavily influenced by drugs.
Bias towards
Court
show
adjourned.
listeners.
Exactly, that's the way it is. Bias towards the
We'll
people
check
that
their
listen.
Spotify to see if they've listened to the latest
Yeah,
app
we'll
and
see
lenient
their
sentence.
Spotify Wrapped, and if we're not in the top 5, well, you're guilty.
Yeah.
And we look at the nana. I don't know if she listens, and it's a
Maybe
complete,
she does, though.
It's a complete
Imagine if she
assumption.
did.
She could be related to us. You never know.
You never know.
It would be
Long
great on a
lost.
follow-up episode if you got her side of the story.
Yeah.
So if you are listening, if you're a nana of nana age and you got hit off a mobility scooter by a young girl, please write into the show and let us know your side of the story.
There you go.
That would be incredible.
One of the greatest follow-up stories we ever had was it was titled "The Lesbian Love Story," and it was sent in from the UK, and there was two couples, right? And they were two straight couples, heterosexual, right? Man, woman, and then eventually both women fell in love with each other while they were in relationships with their boyfriends. Now, it grew and became, okay, well, we're going to have to do something about this. So they split up from their boyfriends and started a relationship together, right? Now, one of the girls...
you said to them we're going to have to do something about this.
No.
They asked us for advice, right? And we told them they needed to all sit down together
Correct.
and have a conversation about it, get everything out on the table.
Because at the time, the boyfriends were left in the dark.
And when they did do this, they all decided, right, that the best thing would be the two girls get together and start dating. But they still stayed friends with the boyfriends. It was unbelievable.
It was odd.
The one I'm shocked most about is that people are coming to two 23-year-olds for relationship advice.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Oh, mate, it was incredible.
And
And they listened as well. It's unbelievable.
One of the biggest twists of the story was that one of the girls found out that she was pregnant from her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend. So then that was another curveball, and then they had to go down the route
was
of not
crazy.
having the child.
Yep.
And then there was trauma, then there was a breakup between the two exes. It could have been made into a movie. It was incredible.
And
But
all this time they're asking for your advice.
not even advice.
It
Half-
turned
half a
into
world away.
updates. It turned into updates.
Yeah.
Right.
So the very first thing was just us saying, look, you can't be cheating on your boyfriend.
Yes.
Like, it's not
Yeah.
ideal. So you definitely need to have a chat with them and figure something out. That's all we said. And then it became updates every month or two.
Yeah. We haven't heard from them in a while. I wonder how they're going.
I hope they're well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love a follow-up.
A beautiful love
That's
story
what I
that
was getting
was.
at with that elongated
Yeah.
story. But yeah, let's get into the new segment.
Yes.
Funny
let's
or
do it.
not with Jamo and Dylan.
The first one's from a very, very good friend of ours.
Correct. He has been on the show a few times. Good bloke. And yeah, let's
see
listen
what
to
he's
what
got.
he... Would you call him funny as a person?
Yes, but I really feel like his joke won't be any good.
I agree.
Yeah.
So let's see how he goes.
I reckon this is it's such a hard segment to win for the people writing in.
It
Because
is, yeah.
As soon as you put the pressure on of like, all right, well, we're waiting to laugh. This has
It's got
to
to
be funny.
It's got to be like top class for
I
this to
reckon
be
Yeah.
good.
we should rate them out of 10 as well. The joke itself.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your mate's name?
His name is Lockie Harrower.
Okay.
Yeah, just heads up, it's pretty cruel. Where did Sally go after the explosion? Everywhere.
Lockie.
Yeah, to me, I knew I was just waiting for him to say explosion.
He did leave the gap, didn't
No,
he?
he did.
He did a crowd work.
So where does Sally go after the explosion? Everywhere. And look, that's fair enough. She got caught up in it.
She did.
She did.
That's not the worst, That's not a bad
It's not,
start.
no, to be fair, he's kicked off the segment with, what would we say, a 7 out of 10?
I was going to say 7 out of 10. Hadn't
Okay.
heard it before. Pleasantly surprised. Thought
Yeah.
it was going to be worse.
Also, just on that, have you done any stand-up before?
I did a Melbourne Comedy Festival show years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And how was that?
Do you want me to do some stand up?
No. Just
Oh yeah, maybe you could send in a joke.
yeah, send in a joke for next week.
Can I give you? Actually, I'll give you. I'll give you a joke.
Okay, all right.
That I wouldn't say anywhere else. Okay, because it's I don't usually like to do like dirty jokes, but I came up with this joke and I've got nowhere to put it.
Wow.
This
Okay.
is the perfect place.
It's not even that dirty, but I just would never say it on radio, and I just have no use for it. So you
That's
guys
fair
can
enough.
be the first and only
We'll take a
ones to hear it.
throwaway. Thank you.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah. What do you call Paul McCartney's cum?
Okay.
Beatles juice.
Oh.
I like it. It is dirty because you
Yeah, you
get.
probably can't pull that one out on radio, can you?
No, I don't even want you guys to put it on your podcast.
But then, like, I put the image in my head as well. I envision Paul McCartney.
Remember, we had a
Did you envision Paul as an 80-year-old man now, or Paul? in
yeah.
his
I
prime
envisioned
during-
old. Yeah,
I envisioned him
Paul.
at maybe
Yeah.
40, 50.
I went straight to Grandad.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's
a
even dirtier.
weird to pick him at like 40 or 50 because he's like 80 now, so we could picture him now at 80
Yeah,
years old.
yeah.
Or we could picture him when he was in the Beatles and the most famous person in the world is like 20 to 30. But you've gone, no, you know what? I'll pick this
Just in the
obscure
mid.
time in his life in the middle.
What do you picture when you think of him? Are you going young man?
I
or-
know. I picture old Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
To be fair, I picture old.
Yeah, I'm the outlier.
There you
Awesome.
go. And none of us have
All
thought
right,
of him
guys.
in his prime.
What do you rate my joke?
I'm going to give it a 7 again.
Yeah,
It was
I was going to
good.
go 7.2. I think it's a little
Okay.
bit better than Lockie's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It was
Yeah.
good. Do you accept the 7 on first here? On the first
Oh
listen?
no, I mean it's not Ricky Gervais. It's
Yeah.
You can never
It's
be
just
mad
a
with a
shit show.
7, really.
No,
It's a
in
pretty
anything
yeah,
ever.
a 7's pretty good.
Serviceable.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, next one.
Number 2.
Did you guys hear about the 3 holes filled with water? Well.
Yeah, he said sorry for wasting your time at the end.
Well.
there. And well, I think that's a 4 out of 10.
That's a dad joke.
I didn't mind it. I'm gonna go 6 out of 10. Maybe
Okay.
because I'm a dad.
Well, yeah, there you go. You'd have
That'll kill it at like daycare and stuff.
a heightened appreciation for it.
Also, what I liked about it is I thought it was going to be a dirty joke, and it wasn't.
Yes, because when holes are mentioned
Yes.
and when multiple holes
It's
are
easy to go
mentioned,
down that route,
It is.
and he's
down
he's
that
kept,
well.
Yeah, he's kept it clean.
Yeah.
I like
All right,
that.
we got 3 left.
Okay, 6 out of 10 for him. 3 left. Let's
there you go, Jamo. He liked your one. What
Oh,
would
yeah,
you give
thank
that? 7.5.
No, that's a 6.
Yeah, no, look,
okay.
I'll accept it.
So, boys, a couple of years ago, I got my first dog, and I decided to name it Work. Everyone always says to me, why the fuck would you name your dog Work? But now I can proudly say that I come into work every day.
Yeah, I saw something like that coming.
Yeah. There you go. You saw it coming, did you? So
No, that's disgusting. Why would you talk about cum?
no, it is disgusting.
I
Yeah,
would
it's
never
bad.
stoop so low. Never stoop that low. 2 out of 10.
Ryan.
Oh, you know who likes cum jokes, and he was actually involved in a skit
Oh,
we did
Luke-
the other day.
Luke
Luke
Kidgell.
Kidgell. Yeah, he was on our show a while back, and the episode did really well. It was a fun episode.
So wait, Luke came on your podcast and said, "I like cum jokes."
Oh, he did actually, yeah. And he says it
Yeah,
on
no,
stage
he did.
too.
Yeah. And then we went to his show later that week.
And there were lots of cum
Yeah.
jokes.
All right, 2 left.
2 to go.
2 to go.
G'day, boys. Love the potty. You blokes are unreal. Got a joke for you. I reckon it's one of the funniest of all time. So there's a mother of 3 children. Her kids' names are Feather, Droplet, and Brick. So Feather was curious one morning, and she went up to her mother and was like, "Hey, Mum, why is my name Feather?" And Mum says, "Oh, when you were born, a feather dropped on your head. It was quite beautiful." Feather said, "Yeah, fair enough. That's good for me." And then Droplet went up to Mum and was like, "Hey, Mum, why is my name Droplet?" And she goes, "Well, when you were born, darling, a little water droplet fell on your head." "Oh, that's beautiful," said Droplet. And then old mate Brick went up to his mum and was like, "Hey, Mum, why's my name Brick?"
Terrible. Terrible.
that's
and the
terrible.
worst thing, that was in like an incoming car crash. Like we could see where it was going from a
It
long
was
way out.
swerving. It was like it was the nana that was under the influence and didn't have the
We were
blinkers on.
we were the nana in that delivery.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Terrible, 0 out of 10. I also, besides the content of the joke, hated the smug delivery and way too much prancing around with the delivery.
It did take a while to get there.
Yeah.
But I think that was his. I think he thought.
That's his prized possession.
Yeah, I reckon he tells that at a
No.
lot of parties and stuff.
Also, never start a joke with "This is the funniest joke you've ever heard."
No, that's
it never
very
can
true.
be.
That's very
No.
true.
All right, last one of the week.
All right.
Hey boys, what do you call a singer with a poo on her head? Poo Leaper. Is that funny or not?
10 out of 10.
You
10
like
out of
it?
10.
Is that the winner of the week?
Funny in the setup and the punchline.
Yeah,
Very
I think
good.
that was another dad
And the
type
accent
joke
as well. The accent always helps a
Is
little
that
bit.
English?
I think so.
Something exotic?
Yeah. No, that was.
Yeah.
That's a nice way. Yeah, look, he's from Yorkshire, England.
Perfect.
Perfect.
He's our little Yorkshire pudding from now on.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, so that's
5 out of
the.
10.
I gave his about a 6.
I'll give it.
You didn't like Pua Lipa,
It's just it's a childish joke. It's one that would be said at a year 6.
but it made us laugh.
That's true.
Yeah, but see, I was laughing because you were laughing.
Oh, I was laughing because he said a singer with a poo on their head.
No, to be fair, to start a joke with a laugh and to end it with a laugh is pretty impressive.
That's true. Yeah, he did get us going along the way.
But it wasn't one
and he told it well.
he did.
And
The
I feel like it's
delivery was-
original as well.
Yeah,
I
the
think
delivery
he
was
wrote
crisp.
it.
Yeah.
We should maybe bring a joke next week.
I was going to
okay.
say, you guys should do one now.
We'll see.
You've
I
got
don't have
nothing?
them
I've
up
got
in the bank,
nothing.
no. But
No.
next week, and if you're interested, we'll send you a voice message of what the joke was.
You can rate them.
Yeah, and I'll send my voice message back and tell you if they're good.
Okay, and you can even send another joke if you'd like. If you'd like to improve on your 7.
Yeah, I think I can improve.
Okay, awesome. Another cum joke or no?
No, I'll go high. I'll take the high ground next time.
Okay. no worries.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Perfect.
All right, we'll end the show with the question we always ask our guests. Every guest has been asked this question, and we're eager to hear your answer. So, when all is said and done, how would you like to be remembered?
Do people usually answer it in a funny way or a real way?
It depends. It depends.
Yeah, I think we've had majority have been quite serious. And
we had we had Frenchie on. His was quite good. He said he wanted to be remembered as a lover and a fighter.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
And a fighter.
Yeah,
I thought the phrase was a lover, not a fighter.
No, he wanted both.
he wants both.
Yeah.
When all is said and done, how do I want to be remembered?
Most people
God,
just say,
like-
"Oh, good bloke."
Yeah, they all say,
Yeah.
good bloke.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, is it too sappy to just say, like, someone who people could rely on and, like, loved his family, loved his friends?
Oh, there you go.
It's not a
That's
bad way to be remembered, is
good.
it?
5 out of 10.
No, less. 2 out of 10. Generic, uninspiring, obvious.
I would really love one day a really inspiring one. Like someone just puts a lot of thought into it and then just spurts it out a minute.
I think you can't, like, how can you do it without it sounding like a quote, you know, like an Instagram
some sort of
meme,
motivational,
Yeah. It can't not be sappy.
Yeah, like I don't even know what I would say.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what could I say to actually inspire you guys? What could I say? Because I could tell you, like, keep going at this, you can do it, but I don't believe that. So what could I say? No, I do. Good luck for the future.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate your time. Good luck with everything. Say hello to your family.
You too. I will.
And,
who I love.
Yeah, we'll speak to you soon. See you, mate.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Jamo and Dylan Show. Make sure to subscribe to the boys on YouTube and share the podcast with a mate.